Good evening and welcome to another edition of Caged Full Throttle with tonight myself, Andy Watts, and with me is Matt Josie. Good evening, Matt.
Good evening, Andy.
And with us as always our panellist, Jordan Hollands. Good evening.
Good evening, Andy. Good evening, Matt. And yes, good evening to everyone else as well.
And tonight we have got a lot to get through, including a very special interview with the finally new crowned Unlimited National Banger World Champion, 59 Stephen Bolton, which is coming up later on in the programme. But as always, we start with our reports, and the first is the Mildenhall Rear Wheel Drive Championship back on the 17th of October. I'll just double check. And certainly not as many cars as many people would have hoped for, but certainly a great night of action, mainly provided by one man, the only lonely gladiator that turned up, Phil Milner, that decided to take on both Shane and Ross Windsor throughout the course of the night. And no matter how much damage he inflicted, he didn't manage to actually stop Roscoe or Shane, but certainly it didn't matter. He managed to carry on to take a full-blown hit race after race and always kept back for more. In the end, the actual main race, the first race of the night, which was the Drivers' Championship for the rear-wheel drive National Bangers, was won by 22 Dave Vincent, who was right at the top of the points throughout the series and went on to win the main race as well. Other race wins that night was 760 Joey Reynolds, who won the first all-comers after the championship. The second all-comers then won again by Dave Vincent, and then the two-car Destruction Derby, which was quite an upset to end proceedings. In the end, was a drawn win between 97 and 178. And unfortunately, there was only two cars for that Destruction Derby. But apart from that, the action was very good, with Phil Milner mainly causing most of the carnage. Also, as well, going on to the following weekend, we also had the Mildenhall Halloween Havoc, where, of course, featured the up to 2 litre national bangers. Most of the field made up of Mondeos. Again, not as many cars as previous years, but certainly a well-respected 26 cars turned up in the end to provide us with some excellent crazy races. The first one being the spin and turn race. The second crazy race, which was the chain pairs, or indeed the chain pairs being the first race. The second race was the spin and turn race. The third crazy race then went to the Le Mans start, where they started up against the Armco to then reverse back into the right direction. And they even put on a fourth crazy race, which again was another spin and turn race. Race wins throughout the course of that meeting came up from the two drivers that won the chain pairs. Well done to 317 and 817. That, of course, is Callum and Kurt Jacobs. And then following on after that, the second crazy race on the programme was 599, and that was Matt Butcher. The third crazy race was won by 623 Ricky Hutton Tricky, and the fourth crazy race was won by Dan Latham in 328. They also had a Destruction Derby. Again, not as many cars as we would like. There was meant to be two Destruction Derbies, but as only 5 drivers made it back out for the Destruction Derby, still again went away to Dan Latham. The actual crazy race Caravan Destruction Derby at the end of the night, of course, respected 10 caravans in the end and was won by 85 James Ellis. So that full recovery of those two Mildenhall meetings. And don't forget, there's no more meetings now until the 17th of December. Also, as well, Matt, I'll hand you over to the Stanlake Street Bangers Open.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. So it was the 4th annual Street Banger Open Championship at Stanlake Arena on Sunday just gone, actually, where around 115 cars turned up. And despite there being 30 or 40 no-shows, which is obviously disappointing, you've got to say it's a fantastic turnout, as always, from the Street Banger Open Championship. There was quite a bit of... There wasn't much variety on show, mostly Ford Focuses, but there was 703 had a Zafira people carrier. But the best cars were the Vauxhall Coltons from the 329 and 606 cars. But I'd also like to say a big thank you to 5 drivers actually who supported the Caged website on their cars throughout the meeting. 2 of them of which were Chris Parry from the Bilge Brigade and Samuel Lewis. So thank you very much to all you lot. And one from Wales, I believe, as well. So that's very much appreciated. But some lovely paintwork as well from a few drivers, including Samuel Lewis, that man himself, Adam Shocks Reeves and Starkey, all with some top motors. Throughout the day, the action was pretty good. It was a pretty typical day out for Street Banger action. But the 4th heat was hugely entertaining, including 703 in that Safira people carrier backing out onto traffic and catching one of the Vauxhall Coltons. So a fantastic show in the 4th heat for the Street Bangers. Sadly, it's got to be said that 321 Maisie Ems, a young lady driver, got knocked out in the last chance qualifier where around 50 cars took part in that race. But thankfully, she's all okay now and she is eager to get back up there once again. So we wish Maisie Ems all the best and hopefully we see her back out on track soon, within maybe next year. In terms of results, 340 Will Brazier took the first heat. This is just ones of note. Chris Parry from the Bilge Brigade in 309 took third in heat number 8. And it's that man, 591 Aaron Morris, who indeed took the 2017 Street Banger Open Championship, who has also won the Back to Basic Champion of the Universe earlier this year at Aldershot. In the championship race itself, 760 Joey got second and 528 Guy Wise got third. But overall, it was a fantastic meeting. For £12 entry, you can't go wrong. You really can't. And if you want the DVD, West Country Videos, I've got that coming soon. We move on to the next meeting, which is the week before, and that was on the 15th of October at Aldershot Raceway for the 3rd and final unlimited Back to Basic meeting of the year, where around 32 cars turned up. And as to be said, Andy, as well, some top machinery on show, unlike the previous Back to Basic Unlimited session. 328 Mike Parry from the Bilge Brigade with probably the best car of the day there, the Citroen CX. I mean, that was proper rotten, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
That was crusty as anything. Yeah. He did let me down. It wasn't a DS, but you couldn't knock him for having the CX estate out there. That was excellent, that machine. Well done to Mike for that.
Yeah, so top effort from him. Other machinery of note was 260 Keith Reynolds had a Merc limo, and Sun 360 Jackstar had a Mark III Grenada limo, which is pretty cool to see. 130 Webber had a taxi, I think it's an FX4, but that was very smartly painted. But again, it's tough to say whether 328 Mike Parry won the best car with the Citroen CX, or indeed 197 Peter Dodge with a crusty Rover P5. I mean, who would you have gone for, Andy, out of them two? It's best car of the meeting.
I've got to say, it'd have to be Mike Perry. I mean, yeah, a Rover P5 is a rare car nowadays, but I mean, you can go to a classic car meeting and 1 or 2 of those were sharp, but how often do you go to any banger meeting and find a Citroen CX? So yeah, Mike Perry won that for me, I'm pleased to say.
I'm equal, to be honest. Yeah, I'm tough on that decision. I think, I don't know, I think it's split really, because again, obviously, Peter Dodge and a crusty Rover P5 in a Back to Basic, I think that's amazing. Some people said it's a bit of a waste taking it there, but I totally disagree with that statement. I think it was a good chance for it to, do some good laps, and it didn't. And lost pretty much the whole meeting, so fair play. And there was no PA at the start of the meeting, in fact, Mr. Andy Watts, which we'll say no much more about. But thankfully, he did get the PA system going for the second or third race of the afternoon, so that was all good. The heats were pretty steady throughout the day. But of course, it was a destructive final and destruction derby that were the best races of the afternoon. Dan Cooper in 367 took a bit of a blow with a leg injury, I think. And I think it's safe to say he's getting better now, is he, Andy?
He has, yes. I was speaking to Psycho Steve Spence, who was keeping me informed days after the meeting to say that he was on the mend. So pleased to say hopefully a full recovery very soon to Dan Cooper.
That's all good to hear. In terms of results, heat number 1 went to 591 Aaron Morris. He's always winning races now, isn't he? Heat number 2 went to 55 Cookie. Heat 3 went to 150 Louis Richardson. And the final went to 283 Lee Strudwick. And now, Andy, we move on to the news.
We do indeed, and the first to come up, of course, is the one that a lot of people have been talking about for almost since August now, is the 2018 Classic Carnage Old and Gold Unders and Overs featured on Saturday, the 18th of August at the Arlington Raceway in Eastbourne. So lots of good cars are still coming out for that one. I mean, lots of people have been posting on the actual Facebook page itself, and got to say, it's going to be another impressive lineup, I would say.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Obviously, we've had the sort of unders format this year with the Battle of the Bilge, and then the year before the Unlimited Classic Carnage, and next year we've got a mix of unders and overs, so should be a good night.
And certainly the other news, which obviously I was mentioning, was the Gladiators coming to Stanlake.
Yeah, for the Bonfire Bash, should I say, on the 5th of November. So that's good to see. I believe they're just in the unders class on the day, but it would be nice to see them in the overs as well. Of course, I think this is just a strong rumour at the moment, but nonetheless, it would be fantastic to see the Gladiators out there causing carnage on the track. So I look forward to that. That is on Sunday, the 5th of November, for under and over national bangers. Also featuring, of course, a traditional bonfire in the middle of the track. In other news, the Roy Rawlins testimonial dates have been confirmed for next year at Arena Essex. Saturday the 9th of June for all Mark 1 and Mark 2 Granada bangers, and Sunday the 10th of June pre-90 Unlimited bangers, which should be very good. Last bit of news as well, it's not actually news really, but soon we will be announcing a Caged-sponsored meeting for 2018, which I cannot wait to reveal to all of you. A few people know, but hopefully you'll keep it on the hush. But I'm looking forward to revealing this for a special announcement for next year, for 2018.
That I am looking forward to as well. I think we'll all want to be a part of that, and to add a sponsorship, and who knows, might even do another meeting throughout the year as well if we get...
hopefully two. Maybe two, hopefully next year.
Yeah.
Any other news we want to bring up?
The early firecracker list has finally been revealed, and it currently sits at around 35 cars, including Roy Rawlins.
Ooh,
is booked in as well. So yeah.
Going a bit off topic, obviously, I know it's a bit of a disappointing booking list, only 35 or 36 cars, but hopefully there'll be a bit of crashing, because it should be a crashing meeting, I imagine, and would hope as well.
Yeah. I think it's one of the meetings, but it's end of season. I'd hope that, in a weird way, drivers bring a car that's done loads of meetings this year, so they will just go out and have a good crash with it, but no, it's normally a good meeting anyway, despite low numbers.
Yeah, and obviously, so hopefully it should be a good day. We'll wait and see on that one. And now I think it's time for that big interview, Andy, that we've all been waiting for.
Yes, indeed. We welcome to Cage Full Throttle, the new crowned Unlimited National Banger Champion of the World, 59, Steve Bolton.
Hopefully this works. It's calling.
Good evening, Steve. Is he there?
It's ringing.
Is he there?
It's ringing. Hello.
Just builds up anticipation.
Hello, he's there. We've got him.
He's here.
Good evening,
Hi.
Steve. How are we?
Not too bad, yourself?
Yeah, very well, very well. So, in the end, you finally got crowned Unlimited National Banger Champion of the World. Nearly 3 weeks on now. Has it sunk in yet?
Not really. No, I only got my trophy in the post yesterday, but it's still.
I love that.
That is good.
And obviously, the main race itself, I mean, how did you find it?
A bit mad, really. Cars were just going everywhere, and it was just that hard to know what was going on. And then the dirt on the track as well, it was hard to see.
And obviously, we don't want to touch on this too much, but obviously, when the checker flag went out, and obviously they put it down on you, I mean, was you certain at that point that you'd won the World Final?
No, I actually didn't know. I thought the same as, well, there was cars going everywhere, and I know Ricky went past me, but at the time I didn't know he was a lap down. And I didn't even know they'd actually give me the flag.
And obviously, I mean, as you say, it was such a busy racetrack. I mean, obviously, turn 4, I mean, you managed to navigate that beautifully on every turn you came round. I mean, you know, what goes through your mind when you look down the track to actually see your sort of track blockage ahead of you?
I don't know. It's just whenever you come round, you don't take it lap by lap. You just take it by corner. Because you never know what's going to happen. You come into that turn, you're just looking for a gap to try and get through it, and just with luck, everything played in the hand.
And when you actually come out of the pit gate, and obviously they're mentioning your name, and obviously they give you a plaque, I mean, how do you feel? I mean, what goes through your mind at that point when you enter the track to enter the race?
It's just something else. It's just the buzz you get from driving out in front of that many people, and the lights and everything just about that whole night. Just driving out that gate's just an amazing feeling.
And does that continue, obviously, when you start doing your rolling lap? I mean, do you start to shake? Do you just sort of pull yourself together? I mean, it's just trying to get an idea of what goes through a driver's mind in these big world championships.
Well, the worst bit was just I wanted out onto the grid and strapped into the car. And once I got into the car and got settled down, it wasn't too bad. But whenever you pull right onto the line and you're sitting there and your legs is shaking and you're strapped in that tight, you can hardly move. And it's something else.
And obviously you've got the gold roof and you finally got your trophy. Will we see plenty of you as much as possible over in the UK?
Yeah, I'm planning to do as much as possible. As long as the funds is there, I'm planning to do as much as I can this year.
And have you got any meetings already lined up that you're coming across to?
I hopefully doing Champion of Champions in Birmingham. Not sure what else. Just need to wait and see that the fixtures come out. Always like to race Ignace. Maybe King Glen. And probably Cowdenbeath. I always wanted to do Cowdenbeath.
Have you never raced at Cowdenbeath before?
No, never. Always wanted to do it, but now whenever the Gold Riff on, I think I'll go and do it this year just to say I've done it.
What tracks have you raced at over in the UK in your time? Or is there too many to list?
Not that many. I've done Buxton. Well, Ricky followed me in at Buxton. That was quite fun. Raced Arena Essex, Ipswich, Mildenhall. Just off the top of my head, that's what I think.
Matt, is there any questions you'd like to ask?
Yeah, certainly. You're the first non-English world champion. How does that make you feel? Does it make it even more sweeter, being the first non-English driver to win?
I always thought it would be a dream to win world final, but I never actually thought I would do it. But to come from all the way over from Northern Ireland, where I have came, and to take on the top Englishman, I always thought I was always an underdog. I never thought I would ever be fit to get the gold roof.
Yeah, because obviously you're the first world champ. Obviously it's somebody different to win the world final, and being the first non-English driver must make it even more special. But have you got any plans for the world final next year? Are you going to go for gold again, or are you going to get a big Yank limo and park it on the track and let everyone pile into you?
I'm probably going to pick on now.
Get a big Yank, just park it on the track, let everyone pile into you. That's my suggestion for next year.
Yeah. That's something Noddy would do.
Yeah. Maybe next year then. John, have you got any questions?
Yeah, Steve, firstly, just congratulations on a great drive, really. It was really, like I said, a great drive. Just interested in hearing you say that you were taking the race corner by corner.
Yeah.
But when you actually picked out grid position 2, did that change your game plan at all going into the race?
To be honest, whenever I pulled out ball 2 and I knew I was on the front row, in my head it goes, I'll be happy if I lead one lap. And I got to lead one lap and I was happy with that, and I just tried to keep going as long as I could. But then after I got took out, I had no idea that I was still up there.
And we've got a comment in from James Keane on our Spreaker feed as well, who says congratulations to Stephen and hopes you win the Champion of Champions to make it a double.
Yeah, I can't see that happening.
Would be nice though, wouldn't it, to make it a double this year?
Yeah, it would be nice. I have my Irish Championship this Saturday night in Tullyronan.
Oh yeah, of course, that's another big meeting this weekend.
Yeah, starting in the front row outside, so that should be good.
Yeah, make it free, possibly free then.
Maybe.
Why not? Any more questions from anybody?
No, I've asked all my questions. Thank you very much, Steve.
No,
Yeah,
well,
I
thank
think
you for
that's
joining
it.
us, Steve.
Yeah.
No
Thank you very
problem. Thanks
much.
for having me.
That's no problem. Good luck for next year as well.
Yep, good
Yes,
luck,
good
Steve.
luck,
Look forward to
Steve.
seeing you.
Right.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Congratulations again.
All right, thank you.
Hello? We're still live.
Yeah, we're still
Good,
online.
good,
I'm here.
good. Right, that's all good then. Let's carry on then with the show. And Andy, you still here? Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'm still here.
We now move on to the next part, which is a discussion where we talk about EastEnders, we talk about The Apprentice. I'm only kidding. This is the part of the podcast where we could fall out with each other and delete each other on Facebook. So we've got we've got one talking point this week, and it was one that Andy brought up at Aldershot last week, and it is indeed, are DDs a dying trend? So who wants to go first on that one?
I think I'll start this one. The reason I brought this topic up was obviously I understand, as we said in previous podcasts, that obviously cars are expensive, a lot of time and a lot of effort goes into cars. And as I said, I do respect drivers who, try so hard to get cars built, get out there. I know they're not as cheap they used to be, and obviously building them isn't, a walk in the park, so to speak, compared to like 20, 25 years ago. But obviously it was just a case of, if that is the case, are they going to start thinking about not having any more destruction derbies at race meetings, especially for unlimited national bangers? And this came up, obviously, being that the actual National Banger World Championship had no scheduled destruction derby. And then the following week at Mildenhall, out of just around 20 cars that came up to the meeting to race, only 2 come out for the destruction derby, which ended with one guy beached on the curb with his back wheels spinning, and another guy at the other end of the track who had no steering.
Yeah, I think this is a... Yeah, sorry, I think it is a tough one. I think, like you say, it's more with the unlimited nationals that you don't get as many DDs these days. And I think it's more aimed at... I'm not going to play the blame game, but I think it's more...
No, not at all. That's not the aim.
I think it's Speedworth unlimited nationals where you get less DDs. Like you go to, obviously, Kings Lynn have mostly destruction derbies. Stanlake always have one. And then you look at sort of your cheap budget banger racing formulas where you got your back to basics that always got DDs without fail, unless they got good reasons. So it's a tough one, really. Like you said, money is, I think, a big part of it, and maybe driver attitude. So if you're spending obviously a ridiculous amount of money on a car, you're not going to DD it. But I suppose this is where the debate goes further. I mean, should drivers be spending the amount of money they spend on bangers if they're going to race round and not crash into anybody? I don't know if when banger racing first started in the 60s or 70s, whether there was DD straight away then, but even 10, 20 years ago, you always had a DD, so I don't know why certain tracks and meetings aren't having DDs. But what do you think, Jordan?
I was going to say, it's like you said, the cost of the cars keep going up, so drivers don't want to DD them straight away if they're still straight and have only got a few little dents in them,
Yeah.
I think actually one person did actually admit that there'd not be any DDs at like any of the Banger World Series rounds, so you actually get more cars for the next round. And I actually tend to agree with that, because let's be honest, if Speedref said, "Oh yeah, we'll put on a DD at every Banger World Series round," you'll probably get 2 or 3. Let's be honest, and people began, it's rubbish anyway. What's the point in running one? So you can't win in some regards. It's all down to drivers' attitude and all that, I guess, like always.
And the thing is as well, like, does it depend on the turnout? Like at Mildenhall, BWS, it was over, I think, around 100 unlimiteds in the end. And when there was that many cars all lined up for the showdown, surely there must have been enough pressure to have a DD, which obviously happened in the end anyway.
You have over 200 cars for the Ipswich World Final, and they didn't on a DD.
See, this is the
thing.
last
couple of years.
I think they should have had a DD because of the turnout. Because this is where we can all conflict on our ideas and opinions on this subject. Because obviously Andy would rather not have a DD of 2 cars, whereas I'd rather have the DD of 2 cars than no DD. So it's a tough one. I don't know. We've got some comments on Facebook as well. I just need to load them up. Bobby Wildcard said DDs are back, I'd say, of the growth of back to basic bangers. It is encouraging the attitude of using one car a meeting, which is I totally agree with straight away. Because back to basics are a car meeting sort of thing. People tend to destroy them in the DD at the end of the day. Chris Davis says DDs are good, but I think the issue is people keep out of them due to their race engines, etc. Getting ruined again, point proven, money being involved. It's bangers and smashing them up is the aim of the game, which is of course very true. Ryan Barbrook says, I personally think DDs are dying as people either have a wrecked car from race or if their car is straight, what's the point in smashing the car up if they can race again? Oh, I don't know how I feel about that comment. But yeah, it is a tough one. It's hard to say, really.
Instead of having a scheduled destruction derby at Unlimited National Banger Meetings, why not then run a showdown race at all Unlimited National Banger Meetings or National Banger Meetings in general so that it gives the drivers a choice? What's wrong with that?
I don't know.
What's wrong with that?
I don't like the idea of a showdown every possible meeting.
I think that would be a good idea because then it would determine which way the race goes. There'll be loads of cars on track for the last race. There'll always be someone that might decide, I'm going to go out and go and wreck. So then it changes the ball game. And then, like the showdowns, it either goes one of two ways. It'll either be a wrecking race or it'll be the first one to complete 10 laps.
Can I make a point, a very good point I've just realised as well with the showdown? They say it's a race or DD depending on what way the action goes.
Mm-hmm. But
don't you feel that 10 laps is a bit short for them to decide that? Surely it should be like 20 laps if we're pushing it there. Because if you do 10 laps, there's bound to be some knobhead rodding away, isn't there? trying to get the win. So it's I don't know, the showdown. I like the idea of it. I just don't know if 10 laps is enough to decide if there's going to be a DD or not.
I reckon it is because at the end of the day, you don't want a race to go on for a whole 15 laps like normal, and no one's actually going to turn around and smash each other. So if the driver's intent going out and wrecking people, it will be determined within the first 2-3 laps of the race. And then it's down to the other drivers to consider, am I going to join him or am I going to swerve him? And that's their decision when they're in the car.
Yeah, so I think every meeting, this is my personal opinion as a conclusion, I think every meeting should have a DD apart from your Speed of Nationals and, let's say, most BWS rounds. I think that's my clear conclusion to it, really. It's just, again, the money involved with it all and the time and effort. I can appreciate that, but I don't know. It's a big debate, really, isn't it? Whether see, we're going off topic now. We're sort of about whether drivers are spending too much money on cars as opposed to DD is a dying trend. So I'd say no, DDs are not a dying trend because you still got enough of them. Just a case of certain tracks and meetings don't have them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And you have apart from Speed of Unlimited Nationals, any other promotions or tracks that don't tend to do DDs? Can we think of at this stage?
I'm trying to think whether Arena Essex run many destruction derbies and how well they succeed in getting cars out.
I know. Go on.
No, what I was going to say is I think Arena only have 2 or 3 national banger meetings a year now, really, and I think their PRI bangers, they do a DD on the pit bend. So it's almost like one big pile-up, which I actually quite like the idea of, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just like one section of the track, because then there's like less hiding, less like cars just rodding around and all that, and then the blue flag's coming out, and it's just a battle of who runs out of petrol first. So I quite like that idea. Maybe that should be implemented.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And I don't know if you can point me wrong here, but I swear Mildenhall's fixtures originally were meant to be like a sort of showdown style sort of race. They weren't meant to go straight into a DD.
They are actually meant to be an all-comers race, which obviously then stops and goes into a destruction derby. So then you get cars out on track. Obviously, those that want to race line up, those that want to just do a DD sit in the middle, and then they come out. And then after that race, depending on how a driver's feeling or how the race has gone for them, or if someone's attacked them and destroyed their car, then they decide whether they go out for a destruction derby. And that always worked. I've got to admit, that did always work, even under the old RDC banner. And I think it proved it a couple of meetings ago as well, where we actually had cars that looked straight, and the driver decided, oh, actually, I'm just going to DD this. So yeah, I reckon there again is another way to look towards it, not just at Mildenhall, but maybe at other Speedway promotion tracks as well.
Yeah, Ryan Martin has a comment on our Spreaker feed saying Dover has a DD every meeting, which, and I'm guessing that might include rookie banger fixtures as well. So that's pretty good. But Stan Lake as well, they always have DDs without fail, no matter what sort of meeting it is. But sometimes the street banger DDs end up in a bit of a fight. I've seen a few where the drivers get out and go, I don't like that, and they sort of throw their helmets at each other. So, oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's a bit weird at times, but I do like Stan Lake. Anything else to add on that subject?
No, I think we've covered all the corners on that one.
What's the general? What do we all think is a viewpoint together? All in this together. What do we think together? So I'm going to say they're not a dying trend, and I hope they carry on forever. Pretty much.
They're not a dying trend yet.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Within 5 or 6 years, I think they could be. To be honest,
could be. Yeah. Who knows?
I would honestly think it would be at least another 2 years. So I'm sorry, guys, but I've got to say, watching them over this year alone, I would say in 2 years' time we'd be looking at alternatives like a showdown race, or either all comes into a DD, or maybe no DDs at all.
Yeah,
just quickly on a showdown, if promotions were to run a showdown race instead of a DD, wouldn't that have to increase the prize money they give out? Because isn't a showdown £500 to the winner? Or am I wrong?
No, you are right in saying that they only get the £500 providing the driver has won the wildcard race as well.
Okay, right. Yeah,
so
sorry, I'm with you now.
Obviously, if a driver just wins the actual race, yes, they get prize money, and it is a lot more than just a normal sort of final, so to speak. But it's not the £500 unless they win the wild card and the showdown the same night.
Okay, right. Thank you.
That concludes it then. So we got another an off-topic section in which Jordan has his stock car and hot rod roundup.
Yes, thank you, Matt. And news broke today that the saloon stock cars have now been added to Great Yarmouth's Gala Night on the 5th of November. Making it an all East Anglian weekend for them as they're racing at Ipswich's Gala Night on the Saturday night as well. So if you're a fan of saloon stock cars and you're going to be in East Anglia that weekend, get those dates down in your diary. I think for Ipswich, advance tickets are now on sale. If not, you can just pay on the gate for them. And we also have to congratulate Barry Stephen on winning the Superstocks World Final Saturday night at Ipswich, which I believe Andy was at. So, Andy, would you care to sort of summarise the race for us?
It was an excellent race for the Superstocks for their 2017 World Championship, and I got to say, obviously the top man that everyone thought was going to win it had to be in the hands of 482 Jason Cooper, of course, defending that world title. Got a good starting point on the grid, obviously starting on pole. Led it for the whole 34 laps. Managed to see the one lap board. Unfortunately got tangled up with 416 Mark Smith as he caught the back of Mark Smith. Unfortunately, the actual coil pack on the car actually gave up on him, and he had to pull off just past the start line as he went on to lap 35. It was an absolute devastation for Jason Cooper, but it did see a new face and a new name taking the world final on the final lap, and I think the driver himself was absolutely overwhelmed after winning taking the checker flag, because I don't think he had any hope of catching Jason Cooper, who was absolutely 3/4 of a lap ahead. But the main race itself, like most world finals, normally has a stoppage. This year it was a full straight 35 laps, but well done to all involved. But well done to Barry Stevens 265 taking the win.
Yes, and I think that concludes this week's off-topic section. Not much else to really talk about.
No, and we move on to the fixtures, which, Andy, I think you can agree is mostly fireworks.
Yeah, in true gala night fashions. We have plenty of fireworks coming up across most of the tracks racing over the next 2 weekends. On Saturday the 28th of October at the Arlington Raceway in Eastbourne, featuring back to basic bangers, and it's 90 cars, an incredible 90 cars are booked in. And in fact, I look on the list now, it's gone up to 92.
Oh, so
back
they've
to
gone
basic
up then.
It
Gone
has
up
gone up.
That's pretty mental.
Thinking that's what, just a couple of days away, fingers crossed we may even hit 95 by tomorrow afternoon, but we shall see. And, of course, that's featuring historic stock cars as well. That all starts at 6 o'clock. Ringwood Matt has got the micro bangers.
Yeah, micro banger spooktacular. Not too sure on the booking list, but it's between 50 and 65 cars. So hopefully, if around that area, could be worth going to. Obviously, check the Trojan website for the booking list. It's worth adding. But it's between 50 to 60 cars booked in for this meeting as it stands.
And also on the same night, Kings Lynn has got its unlimited bangers Halloween Carnival night.
Yeah, I think it's quite a good booking list for that one. So it should be another good fixture.
100 cars booked in for that, including a few hearse and limos I've read on the Trackstar Facebook page today. So, yeah, spooky.
Yeah, it should be a good night out at Kings Lynn. Then we move on to Sunday, the 29th of October, kicking things off at Aldershot for its first ever fireworks spectacular, featuring the back to basic bangers. Which, guys, 81 cars, again, another top back to basic fixture this weekend. I mean, this is by far, I believe now, the biggest ever turnout of back to basics at Aldershot over the past 3 years. So, should be a great turnout. It's also a cage day out, as all three of us will be there attending, hopefully. So, that should be good. I've got some cage stickers for sale as well. They might go very quickly, I may warn you. And it's worth mentioning as well, 328 Mike Parry from the Bilge Brigade has got yet another cool French car lined up. I predict the Citroen 2 CV nice. this time. So that's my...
that would be good. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, Citroen 2 CV power. That's what I'm going for. That's my bet. And on Sunday at Stoke, we've got a micro team Battle of Britain meeting. Then we go to the following weekend, Saturday the 4th of November. We've got the annual 600cc Reg Slack Memorial at Ringwood, also featuring fireworks. Over 60 cars currently booked in for that meeting, and that's very worth... I highly recommend attending that meeting. It's a very crashy type meeting. Plenty of track blockages, hopefully. And on Sunday, now, quite a few fixtures, and the first one is, of course, that annual Unlimited Firecracker at Arena Essex, of which currently 36 cars are booked in for that, so... not a huge turnout, but hopefully plenty of crashing to be had at one of the biggest meetings of the year at Arena Essex. Also on Sunday is, of course, the Under and Over Bonfire Bash at Stanlake Arena for National Bangers. Also featuring the return of the Gladiators National Banger team, so that should be very good. Also featuring, of course, that traditional bonfire and firework display. And then we got Buxton on the same day, Sunday 5th of November, Micro Banger World Final. Yet another World Final. So... that concludes the fixtures, I think, if anyone else has got any others to add.
Just going to add on Saturday the 4th of November, 6 o'clock at the Vauxhall East Stadium in Ipswich has got a bangers meeting as well, which is up to 87 cars, which, bearing in mind, looking at how the numbers have been at Ipswich over the course of this year, is an incredible turnout. So 87 cars.
That does sound good. I'm not a massive fan of bangers at Ipswich, but sounds like a good show there.
And also on the Sunday night, you have the Back to Basic Bangers at Great Yarmouth Stadium. I think currently sitting at 30 cars booked in for that.
Mm-hmm. Again, Great Yarmouth, not well known for its big turnouts, but it's had a good year or so with the Back to Basics.
Yeah,
it has.
So hopefully, it's been a good. It's been a fantastic year for Yarmouth. It's a sort of track where now I'm looking forward to seeing the pictures on Facebook and Oval Chat and whatever.
Yeah,
it's doing quite well for itself. And of course, it's had 5 caravan races as well this year. So it's not done too bad.
Yeah, they've had a good season, and hopefully it will continue within the new year with both National Bangers and the Back to Basics as well.
Yeah, so that should be good. We'd just like to quickly mention as well before we finish the podcast, I've put up a short preview for this Sunday's Aldershot Back to Basic meeting on cagebangers.co.uk. So whether you are going to that meeting or on the fence, you can feel free to read the preview on this Sunday's meeting at Aldershot, kicking off at 12:30 p.m. now. I might as well add.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's about it, Andy.
Right. Stop it.
Yeah, I think that concludes this edition of the podcast. With plenty of meetings coming up over the next 2 weekends, we'll agree we'll come back to our next podcast on Thursday, the 9th of November.
Yes, either 2 or 3 weeks time, basically. So yeah, it's getting to that point of the year where it's getting to that dead end of the year now, where obviously you're getting less and less banger fixtures. So yeah, 2 or 3 weeks time.
Okay then, well, from myself, Andy Watts, and from Matt Josie, good night, Matt.
Good night, everybody.
And good night to Jordan Hollands as well. Good night, Jordan.
Good night, Andy. Good night, Matt. And thanks, everyone, for listening again.
Sleep tight, everybody.
And from all of us here at Cade Full Throttle, stay safe out there. Bye-bye for now.